So this is going to be a whole chapter in a book I'm writing called Shades of Good, because I had my Tesla drive me to the office today. When I'm in Brazil, I have my Starlink deliver fastest internet. And these are all good things that Elon Musk, I think, has delivered to the world on a massive scale.
Elon Musk just put $1.5 million into something called the Aurora network. It's in Wisconsin, has now delivered $1 million of that $1.5 million to try to repeal Alaska's top 4 open, nonpartisan primary. Also, it has a component to it, which is a campaign finance transparency measure. So he's trying to get rid of that. Our friend Scott Kendall in Alaska pointed out if Musk had his way and this got repealed, then we would not know that Musk had made this contribution to the Aurora network. So now we have Republicans and Democrats and Elon Musk all on the same side against nonpartisan open primaries.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. The Independent Voter Podcast. I was out last week, so everybody had a good time without me.
We missed you.
Yeah. I don't know, but there's a lot going on. I don't know. I just had conversations with just people from all over the map, and I feel like there's something happening like in politics right now. And I like to think that we, are kind of in the midst of that, but we have some interesting topics today. I'm joined here as most of the time from Cara, who used to be my compadre on the other side of the country, but now is in San Francisco. Spent the day in Sacramento yesterday. And then we got Ethan, who claims he's working from home. I don't know. I think this is the
working from
new
home
generation
diligently.
Excuse. Anyways.
But I did spend the day yesterday in Sacramento. I went to this thing called the California Politico Agenda Summit, and Nancy Pelosi was there, and Adam Schiff, and Javier Becerra, and Steve Hilton, and Rob Bonta, and all these muckety-mucks from California politics. And it was really, really interesting. But also, guys, I mean, I hate to say it, but the politicians, they don't really say too much. Maybe they say, they're not a lot of substance.
They're for the people. I heard that they're for the people and they want to represent the people.
I mean, a lot of the answers that they gave were pretty milquetoast. And not a lot of breaking news, except for there was one little scoop, right, Ethan, that I talked to you about in the beginning of the day.
From Pelosi, right?
Where Nancy... Yeah, that's right. The Speaker Emerita, Nancy Pelosi, who once held the 3rd most powerful position in American politics, which she reminded the audience of twice. She's really kind of awesome, you guys. She's pretty iconic. But anyway, she talked about how the press had really gotten it wrong about what she said to President Joe Biden before he dropped out. And so we were able to scoop that. I think you put it up on the internet and it got a lot of views, Ethan.
It's up now. Yeah, the clip is on there, and yeah, she did. She gave me a great hook because she was like, "You've never heard this before," and then she told him that he needed to go to some other pollsters about his campaign, which makes sense. It seems like maybe he was being fed some kind of false information about the public perception of him, because I remember even before his campaign, it just seemed like he was in decline. So it would be amazing that, people around him wouldn't realize that this is affecting public perception. And then I think the other thing that she said was that she kind of urged him, like, take some sort of mental cognitive aptitude test or something like that. And his response to that, I believe it was, well, I'm tested every day on the job, or, this job is testing me every day. It's like, well, if you're taking a test every day, it might affect you.
So can I just, this is the Independent Voter Podcast, and can I just, because, Cara's telling her how great, Nancy, she's got her Nancy Pelosi picture up on her wall and, kisses it going to bed at night, say, whatever you think, I gotta take at least one jab. Because
Nancy Pelosi? Okay.
I'm going to, because I personally, as an American, will never forgive her for ripping up Donald Trump's speech on the House floor. I thought that was a moment of partisanship that was disrespectful to the institution, whatever you think of Donald Trump. So it had nothing to do with Donald Trump, it had to do with the institution, that we should not have leadership who represent the House of Representatives, not their party, ripping up a president's speech whether they like it or not. That's my opinion. You're free to disagree with it, but she's done a lot of great things in her life, and I'm not taking that away. People aren't all good, all bad, but I think that was one moment that was not a good moment for our institution, and Nancy Pelosi she's the one that did it. That's my personal opinion.
It was an unusual moment. Sometimes you don't always think before you act. And I wonder if she was just I wonder if mostly politicians, do try to think before they act. I wonder if it was planned when she ripped that speech up or not, or if she was just so mad that she couldn't sort of help herself.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, and we all do that. There's moments in our own lives. Yeah, we shouldn't have done that. Like
every day.
We're right. That's the whole point. We all screw up, and I'm just saying she screwed up at that moment. Whatever you think of her, I think that was a major screw up. And when you're the third most powerful person in the United States, you represent the United States. You got to have the better composure than that, in my opinion. Okay. I know we didn't come on to talk about that, but I just didn't want to give her a free ride on the Independent Voter podcast. So, I don't know. What were we supposed to be talking about?
Could be that's a major point of contention, of course. And I don't think it was a good look for the Democrats, like you were saying, especially ahead of the election. I mean, I'd love to go back and revisit what Trump said in that speech. There it
is. Let's not focus on the issue. Let's go and set an example of something else terrible somebody else did as if it's relevant to an analysis of that action.
I think that's a completely fair response. You're right. Objectively, not a good idea for the Speaker of the House to do so. So, yeah, no, I agree. I think, why don't we get into what Elon Musk is doing in Alaska? As election reformers, we all know Alaska has one of the most innovative kind of ranked choice voting systems out there in the U.S. And what's going on, Cara? You wrote an article about it.
All right, Cara can go first, but I want to comment on this one.
I was just going to say that Elon Musk just put $1.5 million into something called the Aurora network. It's in Wisconsin, and this Wisconsin network that Elon Musk put his money into has now delivered $1 million of that $1.5 million to try to repeal Alaska's top 4 open nonpartisan primary. Also, it has a component to it which basically is a campaign finance transparency measure. So he's trying to get rid of that. Our friend Scott Kendall in Alaska pointed out that if Musk had his way and this got repealed, then we would not know that Musk had made this contribution to the Aurora network, who had made this contribution to the repeal effort in Alaska. So now we have Republicans and Democrats and Elon Musk all on the same side against nonpartisan open primaries. So pretty sad state of affairs.
Well, I'm going to go. So this is going to be a whole chapter in a book I'm writing called Shades of Good, right? Because I had my Tesla drive me to the office today. When I'm in Brazil, I have my Starlink deliver fastest crap internet, right? And these are all good things that Elon Musk, I think, has delivered to the world on a massive scale, right?
Amazing.
We have to give him credit for allowing Starlink in Ukraine. I think that's been a very changed his mind on that.
Putin doesn't give him credit for that.
Yeah, but I think he's taken some actions recently. But he's banned the Russians from using it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's the other side. But my point is, why is this shades of good? Because underneath Elon, from the perspective, I don't know what perspective he's sitting at on this, but he's obviously joined the MAGA team and everything. But if you step back now, what's his contribution at this stage to democracy, right? His opposition to, let's call it for what it is, opposition to Alaska is the fact that it's difficult for the MAGA team and Trump to get somebody elected that's going to agree with them on everything, right? So
that's why they're doing it.
There's only one reason why you do that, okay? There's a Republican is being elected to the Senate, but it's not their Republican, right? What they want to do, it's not get rid of Alaska's system. Everybody needs to understand this is the same thing going on in California, being led by the people that supposedly chased Elon Musk out of California, right? The very people that chased him out of California are trying to undo the top two. It's this same agenda. It's to go back to closed primaries. And we need to call closed primaries for what they are. It's voter suppression on a massive scale. If 47% of the voters self-identify as independent voters, they want to use the legal apparatus of the state of Alaska, the state of California. They're doing it right now in the state of New York, right? Doesn't matter if it's blue or red. State of Florida, okay? State of Texas, there's a debate. There's a whole battle going right now between the Republicans. What it's about is taking the first and important stage of the election process that we pay for and saying, you've chosen not to salute and declare your loyalty to a private political party. Therefore, you are not allowed to vote. And how that is not a topic of conversation from the ACLU, from all these quote supposed voting rights organization, blow my mind. Because look, Mike Madrid wrote a great article that was front page of the Sacramento Bee this weekend, basically saying, let's call the efforts to undo the open primary voter suppression. But what did he point out? He pointed out, look, it's not a bunch. They play this race card everywhere. Independents, white people are not the beneficiaries of this closing primaries. Latinos, Asians, it's minority voters have a higher propensity to register as independent voters. So take all these arguments about, oh, this law or that law, you know, this, whether it's voter ID or any other issue, and forget the merits of those debates. But we talk about the number of voters in question that would be affected by all these things. It's a drop in the bucket compared to closed versus open primaries. Right?
So you're saying basically that the allegations of like that voter ID is voter suppression, that, you know, those are the arguments that the Dems make against voter ID. They say there is no fraud and you shouldn't have to have to show your ID because it's voter suppression. That what you're saying is the number of people that get blocked from voting due to voter ID laws is minuscule compared to what both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are trying to do when they shut down the right for, in California, for example, almost 7 million people. They're trying to take away the right to vote for almost 7 million people by closing.
You're not trying to make it harder. You're not trying to make it harder. You're telling them they can't vote at all. Talk about poll tax. That's more than a poll tax. You can't even pay the tax because it's impossible unless you forfeit your private right, your First Amendment right of association, your First Amendment right of free speech. You sacrifice all those First Amendment rights and join an organization that you don't believe in, and basically also lie to the government by telling them that you're a member of this organization when you really don't want to be. So I was asked to test.
Is it really lying? I mean, you're definitely checking it, but you're basically saying what you're saying is when I fill out my card, I'm going to have to check that I am a Republican, even though I'm not a Republican, in order to participate. It's like there's this disingenuous relationship that you have.
It's not disingenuous. They make you commit fraud in order to participate in the election process. It is fraud. I'm not really a Democrat. Then you say, well, just register with the party to vote. Well, you're telling me to commit fraud. You're telling me to tell the state, this is the party I'm a member of, but I'm not.
Right. And didn't we see like a poll recently where a whole bunch of people said, well, yeah, of course I'm a Democrat because I have to be a Democrat, kind of. Didn't we have something?
That was in New York.
About recently?
Open Primaries commissioned. Open Primaries commissioned a poll. Full disclosure, Ethan was one of the folks working on conducting it, but we did a poll in New York, and half of the Latinos and 1/3 of the Democrats overall. We asked them, in a totally neutral way, why are you a Democrat? 1/3 of Democrats as a whole said, well, I'm not really a Democrat. That's the only chance to really have a meaningful vote. And half
in New York politics, I get it.
Of Democrats. Right. And then of Latinos, it was almost 50% said, I'm not really a Democrat. So now connect this with, I was also
but in order to participate, I'm saying that I am on my registration so that I can vote in the meaningful election in New York, which is the primary and not the general. Because if you don't make it through the primary, like it's whoever the Democrat is who wins the primary, pretty much automatically wins the general in New York. Same as California, right? When it comes to like the governor's race, for example.
Yeah, but
Steve Hilton yesterday was saying that he's the only person who was there who actually thought that he had a chance to win. He was sort of self-deprecating.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, but like, let's go. Let's just stick with New York for one more second, because I wanted to give, I might get in trouble from this from some of my friends, but I'm going to say things out loud. I think we have to start saying things out loud that are true. Okay. I was asked to testify in New York. I told her I'm in California, whatever. I'll come testify, right? Some folks from the open primaries group said, come testify. We're making the case for open primaries in New York. So I gave my case. I gave the background of California. I explained how, look, our voter turnout's like 40% in the primaries, unlike New York's, that's like 9%. With a straight face, the representative from the NAACP says, this is racist to open up the primaries. Basically insinuating people like me are racist because black voters get their power through the Democratic Party, and that this would disenfranchise and dilute their power. And that was her testimony. And whether she believes it or not, she said it with a straight face. And so I have a mirror. I know I'm a middle-aged, privileged white guy, and what do I have I don't have any authority to speak on behalf of black voters. But what do you do when somebody who's probably genuine, right, probably doesn't get out of the circles that live within the Democratic Party, right, is so they don't look in a mirror and realize they're using the power of a century-old institution that was dedicated to supporting voting rights to indirectly say, I don't want a system that treats everybody the same. I'd rather keep a system that by law prevents people from voting by the choices, the First Amendment choices they make, right? That's the state. That's what's going on. Those are the fights that are happening right now. And if I'm called a racist, so be it. I'm tired of it.
I don't see how you could call, fighting for equality racist.
They do. I'm just saying that's what's going on. I think that's why a lot of people are afraid to speak up, right? Is that card is played, and then what do? I could go on there, but we got other topics to talk about. But I obviously am passionate about that one.
Of course. Well, we do have, we have a clip going kind of viral right now of Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan calling out John Fetterman. They've kind of had some serious back and forth.
Looking. I'm like, he is so good looking.
The last time Cara did this, it was about Eric Swalwell.
It's true. Oh my God, it's true. But he's just like in the gym, lifting weights, talking politics.
He's got some serious charisma, and he knows how to talk, in a way that just seems like he's your buddy at the bar, which is ideal, I think, on social media and just in today's day and age where people want to see that authenticity. Obviously, we've seen it from Trump in a much different manner, have a ton of success, but this guy El-Sayed is just he's just casual about things. It doesn't seem like he's doing any political processing before he says the things that he does, even if there probably is. He seems like a smart guy. But
he's a pretty seasoned politician, actually, right? He's run a whole bunch of times. This is just the time that he hit it. And he's the nominee. He's in the catbird seat now for sure. And it's just so interesting, like what videos you put up that go viral. And this is one of them. Like Chad said, it has, tens of thousands of, I don't know, where is it at, Ethan?
Where I probably it's around 350,000 views now, and then it's been getting just some really solid engagement because I think he hits a lot of buzzwords in that video. He calls Fetterman an asshole, then he says, "But I try and approach every person with empathy." So
Yeah.
That's a big word for a large contingency
Yeah,
of
for a
voters.
guy saying a lot of bad things about a guy who had a stroke, and so
It's interesting how he's able to frame it in a way, frames the experience of having the stroke as the reason why Fetterman seems so bitter today. I also must say,
to be fair, you just defended Nancy Pelosi by attacking Trump about 10 minutes ago. So, don't be too hard on the guy.
hey, no, I
Nancy
agree. I mean,
Pelosi yesterday, I
that's
have
rhetoric.
to say, it was pretty funny. Like the article that I wrote, she was talking a little bit about how she came to power and about now that she's retired, that she is still going to be involved in politics, but she's going to be less partisan, that she sort of feels she's going to work at UC Berkeley. There's going to be a Nancy Pelosi Institute there. And she was talking about how she feels sort of emancipated from the partisanship, not from the politics, but from the partisanship. But I have to tell you, like practically in the same breath, she was saying that the Republicans are destroying democracy as we know it, and the biggest threat to civilization and mankind, and sort of existential.
And
So-
I can't at this moment imagine why voters are disillusioned with the talking points of politicians. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
It's easy. It's easy to say like the things people feel in their heart, and then but not act on them when you're in a position to do something about it, right? That's why
I think El-Sayed shows the clear solution is replace all campaign and political consultants with personal trainers. Get the politicians in the gym, and we'll have 50% of Caras will vote for him just because of the look. It's perfect. I think that's the strategy.
Dang,
I mean, I don't know that I'd vote for him, but I would definitely vote for him as cutest Senate candidate in America for sure. Like he is so good looking.
We could have him with Plattner and Eric Swalwell and all the good looking charismatic guys all together. Then we'd have perfect representation.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even have to go door to door to find the candidates like the DSA. You just go to your local
flip book
24
or
hours.
slideshow on Instagram, right? You could just have it could be like the dating app where you just like swipe left or swipe right. You just be like, oh, he's cute, he's in.
Yes.
He's in. Oh, don't.
We'll get rid of
that guy.
Get rid
that
of
one's
the
president.
Exactly. Get rid of the pamphlets.
I feel like that's
and just
probably
photos.
how President Trump kind of chooses his people. It's all central casting. He wants people who look really good on TV. He wants people to be, he wants attractive people around him. And that's sort of high on his list, right? Like Hegseth, for example, is,
I was going to bring up Hegseth. Although if you watch some of those Department of War videos lately, Hegseth, he's been looking a little weathered. He's looking a little stressed out, I have to say.
Yeah, the office will do that.
He should be stressed out.
Talk about, okay, so now can I lay my beef on like Donald Trump, who's the cohort in crime with Elon Musk in Alaska, right? Who has said...
it's Trump and Musk.
He says these blanket statements about all ranked choice voting is communism and things like that. And it's like that. So I feel like I'm like in this devil's advocacy where I defend a lot of things that Trump does that I think there are things that he's done as good. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get attacked just for saying that, right? But like gerrymander, for gerrymandering, for example, I wrote a thing about how don't get mad at Trump because he just yells it louder, right? I'm not saying I like the fact that Trump gerrymanders. I'm just saying he doesn't pretend like he's doing something else, right? And that has an incidental benefit of educating the public about how the game really works, right? And so but like to your point, like I think Trump sometimes is his own worst enemy. He says things in such the negative that are so ill-informed that it feeds the other side to just point out the obvious. Like you're either wrong about that, or two, like that's your personal vendetta or whatever about a circumstance you have. I mean, we all have our own relationships with everybody we know or think about or whatever. And sometimes it's like my experience with that person is great. Somebody else could have a terrible experience with that person. Some people have had a terrible experience with me, probably. Some people have had a good one, right? But like he takes his own perspective and truth as everybody's truth, right? And I don't think the job of a president
The president does. Yes.
And I don't think the job of a president is to impart his truth on the world about everybody's character extrapolated from maybe the 30 minutes or 15 seconds experience he had with them as the eternal truth.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you guys see that this thing about him being smuggled into a beverage cart and moved from one plane to another plane secretly? And it's so crazy. In Turkey, he had flown to Turkey on his $400 million Qatari gift jet. And then they decided that jet wasn't good enough. It didn't have enough defensive weapons on it to be able to have him fly on the Qatari jet. So then he switched to Air Force One. But then they left the press and everybody else on Air Force One, and they took him in like some sort of meal cart, like, you know, those meal carts that you see that go down the aisle when you're, you know, getting your Diet Coke and your peanuts. They put him in one of those, I guess, and like wheeled him over to a third plane.
I think we gotta be fair. I don't think it was a cart. I think it was one of those trucks that, you know, the trucks that raise up at the airport and go between the planes. I think I think it was a catering
like a luggage
truck.
Cart, a catering truck. Okay, it was a catering.
No,
how did we get here?
I don't know, because we were just talking about Trump, you know, and he's definitely, this is one of the most bizarre things that I've seen.
It is pretty bizarre, right?
In the news, like, this is the leader of the free world, and he's being like, I just keep imagining him being spirited away. I mean, God bless the Secret Service for the job that they have to do to protect that guy in the middle of you know, all these different wars that are going on. And I also was reading that we're out of munitions. Just saying, or not out, but like we've used half of our interceptors.
Lina's here. You're supposed to start getting in front of the camera, American Lina.
What do you mean, American Lina?
Somebody is now a real tried and true American as of Friday.
Congratulations, Lina. That's
now I can't call you Colombian Lina anymore because she's an American now.
Well, muchas
incredible.
De nada.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Fue mi placer conocerte.
How does it feel, Lina? How does it feel?
Great. Yeah, it feels good.
Did it feel different? Like after you get married, you know, or something? Do you feel different, or do you feel the same?
I mean, I've been living in the country for a while, so it's good. It feels different in traveling, right? Because as a Colombian, you know, I have had different situations that maybe that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we got to talk about that one. She told me a really interesting story about her experience and all this stuff prior to getting her. But you were, at the same time, you were flipping me off because we're running out of time.
Yes.
Telling me, right? Yeah, she's like, hurry up. And then I go into another whole soliloquy. But yeah, we're going to get Lina in front of the mic soon and tell some of her perspectives, right? Now that she's going to vote in November too.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I did want to say congratulations, by the way. Lina's awesome. We can't do any of this stuff without Lina over there looking at us. Well, I should say glaring at us. But she's awesome. So congratulations. And I know that means we're supposed to wrap it up. Ethan, go back to sleep because I know you're working from home. And then for all of you, I mean, look, what the 10 or 15,000 comments on just one of your videos yesterday, the emails we continue to get, the op-eds we continue to get, the shout outs we have gotten on some of the major news outlets. So we're having fun here. I go on this stuff, whether it's, you know, me disagreeing with Cara disagreeing with me. We all disagree with Ethan. We should disagree with each other. That's what Independent Voter Project is about, but to do it in a way that we understand, like we're all coming from a good place. We all have different perspectives. If you like that, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, follow or come to ivn.us. We got a comment section now. If you really want to tell us how bad something was, you can put it in the comment section. And sign up for our newsletter, do all that stuff. We really appreciate you. We have our audience, and you all have been great as we try to build whatever this news platform and network is. But it's a lot of fun. Thanks for being a part of it, and we'll see you next time.
See you next
week.
week.
Thanks, everyone.
This is the Independent Voter Podcast, sponsored by the Independent Voter Project and produced by OLAS Media. Remember, you can always find the Independent Voter Podcast or the How It Really Works series at ivn.us. Follow and subscribe at olasmedia.com.
OLAS Media.